Good day everyone, my name is Goddan. So I have these questions that says, using substitution method, solve x plus 3y equals 0, 2 minus 3y equals 6. And question 2 says, 4x minus 2y equals 7, x plus 3y equals 7. Now, solution. Number 1, we have x plus 3y equal 0, and then x minus 3y equal 6. Now, just like the name implies, substitution. For those of us that love football, when you substitute a player, it simply means you took a player out, and then you brought in another player. It's the same idea. Now, if you look at this is a simultaneous equation. This is a simultaneous equation. Simultaneous linear equation. Now, it is a linear equation because it is of degree 1. That is, the highest power in this equation is 1. If you look at the index, the power of x, it is 1. Because x raised to the power 1 is x. Y raised to the power 1 is y. Same thing for x and y. So the highest power in this equation is 1. That is degree. The degree of an equation is the highest power in that of the variables in that equation. And a linear equation is a kind of equation with degree 1. Now, but this is a simultaneous equation. We have two equations to be solved simultaneously. Now, the number of variables determine the number of equations. If we have just 2 variables, so we have 2 equations. If we have more than 2 variables, we would have more than 2 equations. Now, you have 2 variables, x and y. Now, the idea is take one variable out, and then would have only one variable, bring the other variable in. Now, if I decide to substitute x now, it means I want to take x out and then bring y in, so that in that equation, I will only have a kind of equation that has just one single variable. If I have 3y equals 6, for example, now I can find y. I just divide by 3, and then I know y is equal to, right? But if I have 3x plus 2y equals 6, this becomes a bit difficult to find the value of x and y, because what do I have? I have 2 variables. Remember, we can't add unlike variables since they are unlike. So our intention would be to find a way to remove this x and bring y in, substitute it for y, so that we'll now have 3y plus 2y equals 6, which will now give us 5y equals 6. We can now divide and then get our y to be one whole number 1 over 5, right? It's the same thing we want to do here. Now, this is equation 1. This is equation 2. Now, how do we get the value for x or y that we want to substitute? You see, in any of the equation, make any of the variables subject. Okay, so remember how to make a variable subject of formula, right? Now, so this is what we want to do. Now, I want to make either x or y subject of formula in any of the equation. The only issue is that, let's assume I'm making x subject of formula. If I make x subject of formula in equation 1, such that I will now have x equal 0, if plus crosses to the other side, it becomes minus 3y, right? So positive crosses, it becomes minus. Now, this will now know that x is equal minus 3y. Now, this equality sign tells us that wherever I see x, minus 3y can stand for it too. That is, x is the same thing as minus 3y. So I now have a value for x, right, in y terms. So since I've made x subject of formula in equation 1, I now substitute for x in equation 2. So that means that instead of having x now in equation 2, I will have minus 3y, because I've been able to find the value for x in equation 1, saying that x is equal minus 3y. So if I make x, if it is y I made subject of formula, as long as I made x or y subject of formula in equation 1, I substitute in equation 2. If I decide to make x or y subject of formula in equation 2, then it means that I will substitute in equation 1, whichever way. Any equation you make any variable subject of formula, then you can't substitute in that equation. You substitute in the second equation. I hope that is clear. So now we now have equation 2 is x minus 3y equals 6, right? Equation 2 is x minus 3y equals 6. So in place of x now, I will have minus 3y. So I have minus 3y equal 6. Minus 3y will give us minus 6y equal 6. To get y, I need to divide both sides by minus 6. So that minus will rule out minus, 6 will cancel out 6, 6 will cancel out 6, and then my y is equal minus 1. Now, at this point, we can now substitute for the value of y in any of the equations, be it equation 1, equation 2, or if we call this equation 3, you can also substitute for the value of y in this equation. In any of the equation you substitute for the value of y, you will get the value of x, because we've been able to solve to the point where we now have the value of y to equal minus 1. So if I'm using equation 3 now, so I substitute for y. We know y is equal minus 1. Equation 3 says x is equal minus 3y. So instead of y now, I have minus 1. So x is equal minus 3 minus 1. Minus multiplying minus will give us plus. So we have x is equal 3 times 1 is equal 3. So we know that our x is equal 3, while our y is equal minus 1. Now, let us check. You can check using any of the equations, right? Substitute for the values of x and y. Now, using equation 1, equation 1 says x plus 3y equal 0. I know that my answer is correct when I have 0 on the left hand side as well as 0 on the right hand side. X is 3 plus 3, y is minus 1. On the right hand side, we have 0. Now, we have 3 plus times minus, of course, is minus, sorry. We have 3 minus 3 times 1 is 3. On the right hand side, we have 0. Now, 3 minus 3 on the left hand side is 0 equal 0. Now, since both sides are the same, then we say that our answer is correct. We can also use equation 2 you'll also get the same, you'll get 6 on the right hand side as well as 6 on the left hand side. Now, I'll let you try number 2, right? For me, this. Drop your answer for the value of x and y in the comment section, and I'll be there to tell you whether you're right or you are wrong. Till I come your way again, please do well to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel so that YouTube can post it to more students and we can reach out to more students to learn mathematics for free like this. Till I come your way again next time, bye for now.